Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever the hell you're listening to us. This is Drunk Discussions, and we're your hosts. I'm Paul,
And I'm Sean.
and we have a fun one for you today. This is the last of our little trilogy of Halloween exploits into the weeks. So we're going to be getting into, I know I didn't want to say it, but I said it. We're going to be getting into some more stuff, some interesting things that have been going on around the world, and just some fun topics for you guys. But before we do that, Connery, I missed you. How are you doing?
Uh fucking I'm doing really well. I'm horning up a lot of gay guys on my new OnlyFans.
That's
Maybe
right. I
there.
wanted to talk
Yeah.
to you about that actually.
Yep.
How does that work?
So essentially it's like Instagram, but occasionally you show your butt. That's about it.
That's it. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So it's like you're like the PG version of OnlyFans right now.
No, so my TikTok is PG, right? So I have PG there. Then my OnlyFans is PG-13. Now, will
There's
I
tiers.
explore? Yeah. Like you can show butt cheeks and it not be rated R, right? But the moment you show a cock or a butthole, rated R. And then rated X would be, well, something's going in a hole, right?
It's fair.
Yes, and I don't think I'll ever do that. I don't even know if I'll hit rated R. I might. I never know.
It just depends on how desperate you get.
Yeah, like it depends on hospital bills, food,
Yeah.
mortgage, insurance,
Inflation.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. All of the above. So you did your first live on it. How did that go? Second live.
live.
So how did that go?
Uh, it's kind of a complicated world because so fetishes exist, Paul, that you do not know about, is what I've realized.
You think so?
So this one guy just he paid me like $25 to just burp into the camera and play with my pecs and squeeze my nipples.
I mean,
so it's kind of, you're
I'd
balancing
probably do that, yeah.
not laughing because like, you're trying to fulfill kind of like some fantasies, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to kink shame anyone. That's not what I'm there for. Other people want to see the bottom of my feet. Like, the top of my feet I call Franken feet because I've got a missing toenail. Well, actually, I got 3 missing toenails right now.
And did people want to see your toenails? I feel like that's a thing.
Yeah, sometimes people really want to see that stuff.
I'm surprised. So is this like better than Feet Finder?
I don't know. I'm not on Feet Finder. Like, I never even thought I'd start an OnlyFans. I was peer pressured by the gays. Way to go, gays! You peer pressured me.
It's all your fault, gays. Oh no.
No, once you start having hundreds of people asking, "Hey, I'll pay you," I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Let's see what happens." And I started it, and within
you're literally the walking say of $20 is $20.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, it's more like $25 is my starting point. So on lives, I say, "Hey, look, I'll put the camera in whatever." So I am wearing clothing, right? Not much by any means. It's sort of like you're in a jock strap or underwear or something. And I say, "Hey, look, for $5, you tell me what exercise move you want to see." So a lot of times it's either squatting or deadlifts and they toss $5 at you. So you're basically an adult entertainment. Yeah. So, but I do view it as like now that I'm actually making money at it, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a job. So that's all I see it as, is really a job. But it's also really cool because there's another layer of interactivity with followers that I've had since TikTok really started going off, and I was like, okay, this is nice. I'm getting to know people. People are kind of. It's a really good way of connecting with fans, but it's also, I'm a fucking whore, and it's not like I'm whoring out my body, and this is something that my wife and I.
You kind of are, though. I mean, you're not whoring out your body physically, but like digitally, yes.
Digitally, I am, but the extra layer to the onion is having a significant other, right? So my wife, she in the beginning I was like, I'm never going to do this, and then she hung out in my TikTok lives, and she just saw how many people are asking, "Hey, I'll buy your underwear, I'll buy a jar of your sweat," whatever it is, and she was like, "You should look into this." And I procrastinated making one for the longest time.
So my question is, have you tried to collect your sweat And the second question to that is, how long does it take to get a jar of sweat?
About an hour.
No shit, an hour? Do you have to wear a suit to collect it all, to drain it, or like that stuff on Jackass?
I just kind of bend my head forward and then it kind of drips off, or off my beard. Yeah. You got to think,
people like this.
I'm working out in 90% humidity, 95 degrees in a garage, right?
Okay, well, I have so many more questions, and we'll get to that in a second.
Well, let's start with what are you drinking on, Paul?
So actually, I have two options. I just couldn't pick. They're both good. I have the St. Cloud, the Kentucky bourbon, and I have the local Route 8 Augusta Distillery Kentucky bourbon, and they're both fantastic. So I'm just drinking on bourbon like my good old self normally does. What about you?
You're gonna hate me. I am drinking on Tropic Isle Palms.
What is that?
Rum.
Oh, you're a rum guy. That's right.
With Coke Zero. So it's a rum and Coke.
I mean, you can't go wrong with a rum and Coke. You really can't.
It's fucking delicious. I'm actually genuinely enjoying it, but it sneaks up on you real fucking quick.
All right. Well, with that being said,
let's roll that
intro. That cup covered something.
1, 2, 3.
I'm a type 2 civilization hipster.
Jesus is watching you. You're going to all burn in hell. That's why Antarctica's off limits. It's just a bunch of penguins fucking each other, and it causes a chain reaction. People lose their fucking minds.
Trust me, man, I've seen some shit.
Nice to be in orbit.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine.
You should probably go get that checked and shove a finger in your bum. You're laughing, but it's already in there. And we are back. Everyone, thank you so much for joining Drunk Discussions Podcast. This is a live podcast now every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, you can find us on twitch.tv/Drunk Discussions. But if you're looking for the podcast, the Thursday switch up's been kind of fucking with my weekend. I'm not going to lie. Like, I forget to edit the podcast and post it. So you may not have heard us on podcast channels in the past 2 weeks, but I did save them. So we're going to go ahead and just release all of them on Monday. And you'll have 3 hours of embarrassing stories, horror stories, information, facts, you name it about Halloween in general. Tonight, though, we have some interesting stuff. We'll get into that. We're not going to talk about it now. We're just going to bring it up when we bring it up. But in the meantime, Paul, you have questions.
I'm going back to your OnlyFans and stuff like that, because it really is interesting to me. Because like I've had people say the same thing, like you should start an OnlyFans, or like I've had people hit me up like we should collab. I'm like I'm good. So I really just want to pick your brain, because like you're the only person. You're like you are my best friend. You're my brother, and I just have so many questions. So the number one thing is, what is the most like someone can spend on you? Is there a limit?
So from what I found out, it's $100 so far through OnlyFans. Now, I do accept larger payments on other platforms for services, and the services that I include, this is something that in the beginning I was like, I'd rather do this than OnlyFans, was selling articles of clothing. So I haven't had anyone buy my socks, but I've had people buy shorts, underwear, worn to that nature. And it's, in my eyes, I've never been a panty sniffer by any means, but I know a lot of fucking guys that are.
You've never done a panty raid?
When I was younger, I did, and then I'll be honest, as a straight guy, well-worn panties aren't exactly a bouquet of roses.
No.
So I don't see any fascination in it, and especially and I do the stink check when I'm like laundry days tomorrow type of deal, and I'm like,
so
I got that I can wear
your underwear.
Yeah, I'm like, are these clean enough? No. And generally that's the answer is no.
You're just like, those are tart.
Yeah, well, a lot of flavor in this one.
Why is it spicy?
We do have a lot of people though that would love to see a collab on OnlyFans. So
oh, that Paul collab on OnlyFans, literally.
But
see what I mean? This is the stuff I'm talking about. I go into your live on TikTok or our lives on Twitch, and people are just like, "Oh, okay, Paul."
So
like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't think I could.
I do think though that I kind of lucked into it, if you will, because I would never do it for women. And because that's something, my relationship is very sacred with my wife, and I do not feel comfortable sharing intimate parts of my body with other women, right? And you know, luckily the people are very familiar with that because everyone that I have in my OnlyFans, they came from my TikTok, and my TikTok community is very aware of that. So there is a few people that aren't respecting of that. You know, I've had to ban one person and refund his money because he just was consistent. He was like, "Show me that fat cock. Show me that fat cock. Let me see your butthole." I'm like, "Look, dude, I'm not doing that. I've told you that is not what I do. I'm not doing sexual acts. It is more or less it's like a hey, look, don't touch stripper.
You're like
if you will.
you're like the goods behind the glass. You're window shopping.
And I never thought I'd actually have a body that people would be like, "Hey, I want to look at that," but hey, whatever.
See, and it's funny you say that because like there's one of the larger people on TikTok for men is actually a very large man, and he's in like the construction field, and he makes a stupid amount of money because he literally sells it, like you said, his articles of clothing, and people buy that stuff from when he worked out in the field all day. So I mean, it is pretty crazy to me. I guess my next question is, you've sold a couple of shorts and shirts and stuff like that. Is there anything where like someone would want to buy something like an article that you're like, I just couldn't? Like, is there a shirt you're like, I will never sell?
So that's a good question because people have gifted me shirts over the years that have sentimental value to me, and honestly, though, like for example, the shirt you and Marshall got me of Deadpool on a unicorn, that is a shirt that would never part with me. That's one of them that I would never part with. But like, you know, a shirt that Jamie Foxx gave me, I'd probably put a price tag on that. You know, like I'm like, this ain't going anywhere. You know?
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. It's like a shirt that was gifted to you by Jamie Foxx. You worked out on it, and some dude is offering to buy it from you. What's the number? I guess what is the number where you're like, okay, this sentimental shirt that I got from a celebrity can go at this tag?
It's a 4-figure number. Yeah, it's not like stupid crazy, but I wouldn't sell it for under 1,000, right?
Right, right.
And I rarely wear it. The shirt itself was a $300 like European brand shirt. And I, you know, dude bought it for me because I had nothing else to wear that night. So I, you know, it has sentimental value to me, but then again, I'm just like, whatever. But we do have another question. Sean, are you ever uncomfortable? So
It's fair.
kinda not really, right? So
Except for when obviously your viewers are harassing you, then you're kind of like,
no, because Jim, out of all people, he's actually pretty good at just shutting that down for me. Jim's been a very good moderator.
Thanks,
He's been
Jim.
there since the beginning. He's even a moderator now on our. I trust him enough to moderate this actual podcast. So it's not uncomfortable. Not really. Like, you know, I'm sitting there in a jockstrap that does not cover your ass, right? And it doesn't really bother me because my mentality is I grew up in the country. It is not uncommon for you to go up to a fucking bonfire, you all get fucking pissed drunk, and everyone sees each other's asses, right? It's an
Right.
ass. I'm like, and I grew up that way. I'm like, it's not really a big deal. You know, when we were kids, we were fucking goading each other, we were brainsing each other, batwinging each other.
we lived together, I saw you more naked more than any time I've ever wanted. Like I come down the stairs and he's just making toast, butt ass naked. I'm like, what are you doing, bub?
It doesn't
Like,
really
I wanted
bother me.
toast. It didn't
Like-
bother me either. I'm just like, no underwear, just nothing, not even a robe. All right, cool, bub.
Who was it? I wake up, have a morning wood, so I just put a towel over it and I walk to the bathroom, and there's like 3 or 4 people in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, I just keep walking.
I think it was me and Lizzie and John.
Oh, it was Lizzie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
me, Lizzie, and John. We were just sitting there having coffee in the morning, and there you go. And we just see you pitch tent and all. We're like, what the? Okay, hi, bub. Go do your thing.
Had a pee. Yeah, let one go. But yeah, I'm not really easily embarrassed is a good way of putting it. Like,
So let me
Oh.
ask you this, my next question. So there's obviously like spicy Instagram accounts, like modeling accounts.
Right.
Are these things where like after so long of them being on your OnlyFans, you would be like, okay, I can move these into other social media that will allow it?
yeah,
Like Twitter or sorry, X or Instagram or
So let's be honest. We've all kind of thought about ways of making extra money, right? And people have fallen into the trap of they made an OnlyFans and it just did not become successful. They didn't make any money on it, or they did Feet Finder, or they started trying to sell underwear and they're like, I haven't sold a single fucking pair in months. you need to have another platform. So I utilize TikTok as my platform because I make a few bucks off of TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, like, but I reinvest all of that money into making the streams better. I'm sort of like the horny Mr. Beast variation of I reinvest all the money I'm really making back into the platform. So, for example, the money off of TikTok went into redoing the entire gym.
Which looks great, by the way. Incredible.
I'm hey, it's a dream of mine to have a gym like that. It's sort of a baseline of okay, here's what I've got. Like the studio. This studio right here behind me, everything in this room was essentially paid from TikTok money. And now like I have like 200 subscribers on OnlyFans, which a lot of people are like that's really fucking hard to get to. Like all the gay guys that I've talked to, like Nick, for example, Lauren's brother. He has an OnlyFans and he's like, yeah, people have subscribed to me, but they don't have renew on. I'm like, oh. I was like, well, how many renews did you have? And he said, well, out of like the 25 people I had, maybe one. I was like, okay, so out of the 200 that I have, there's like 5 that don't have it turned on, right?
Right.
So people have kind of gotten the persona off of TikTok and they're like, this is a guy that genuinely fucking cares about people. He's open-minded to everything. And you know, he's willing to say, hey, here it is, you know.
Full Florida man right here to show you all.
Thanks, Jim. But it's something that is continuing to grow. It's weird to say this out loud, but if I can get it to 2,000 subscribers, I could literally just do that full time.
Right. I guess my next, we'll call it a final question. Would you ever, like, if your wife was interested in doing it too, would you guys ever do like a collab together?
I would do that with her. You know, I have had people ask me, hey, is your wife ever going to be on OnlyFans with you? And there is a process. She has to go through the vetting process, get verified, before she's even allowed to. She's not even allowed to talk in my live streams. Like, OnlyFans is very strict. There, if you are the only person verified, you are the only person allowed in that. Same with the photos and shit like that. She's the one that's actually taking the photos most of the time. So,
personal photographer.
Yeah, she's also she's kind of the pimp in the relationship because she's the one that like I'll by the way, figuring this out here. Hey, look. So I vacuum seal, sign, date, clothing. Right. I vacuum seal it for freshness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's the one that mails it off for me the next day. She'll go to the post office and be like, so it was kind of funny. She's at the post office and she's like, they ask, oh, what are you shipping? And she's like, my husband is a influencer that's selling merch. And she's like, oh, okay. What type of merch? And she was like, this one's a t-shirt. It was actually a thong. And this one's a pair of shorts. And it was actually underwear, you know? And yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to get feedback from them.
I was gonna say, do you have feedback from the people that have done this? Like, oh my god, I loved the underwear you sent me.
So underwear. So I mailed out a pair of underwear and shorts 2 days ago. A pair of underwear yesterday. So no, not yet. I don't have any feedback yet.
So these are all fresh underwear that you wear. You're not having ones that you wore all day and like you got a fucking stain in this bitch.
So I do have different tiers for pricing. I say a daily pair or a workout pair. And sometimes my workout pair is my daily pair. I'm not gonna lie. And I say, hey, here it is. You know, but most of the time, guys are pretty fucking open about it. They're like, dude, I want this. You can wear it more times than once if you want to. Yeah. Which
no hate, no, to each their own, man. To each their own.
I'm sure I'd catch a bacterial infection if I did that. I'll be honest. So
yeah, could you imagine? Like, hey, John, why do you have pink eye again?
But
oh god,
it is fun. You know, I can't believe in a week I've gained 200 subscribers. That right there in itself, I feel like and it's only because I have another platform. Like I utilize the platform that I have. You know, like my TikTok is not working out. My TikTok lives are working out, right? You know, I posted one video on my story in regards to the workout situation. did I gain any more traction? No, but it was more or less a thanks to the community of, allowing this to happen, the growth and all this other stuff. So it's been really cool. Where do I see it going? I've noticed it kind of, so in the beginning, the first 2 days, it went from 0 to 100. After that, it's been 15, 20 a day type of deal. And now I'm at 200. I'm kind of sitting at a stagnant point. But I haven't really engaged on TikTok lives to grow the platform even more yet. Right.
Right.
So I'm continuing to do that. I think I'm going to make it a little bit easier to find the platform. Right now I'm layering it. So I go TikTok, you go to my bio, then you go to Twitter, and in the description of my Twitter, it's kind of like a puzzle to figure it out, because I really I don't want to get banned on TikTok.
See, and that's what blows my mind, because I have other people that I follow on that platform that openly have their Twitch link and openly have their OnlyFans link, and they've been doing it for
Are they
years
talking
now.
very, very controversial subjects?
No, it's like gaming or, well, that's not true. One I do follow, she's I don't know, she's an F both sides kind of a person on political spectrum, and she's very open about that and like breaks down both of them. So I mean, kind of, I guess she would be a little bit, but she has hers on her lives just like right there. Like you can fucking see it in the background, not like on the link itself, but like she has like what you have with Drunk Discussions or what I have. But
here's what I can tell you, Paul. When it comes to that, women are definitely not that bannable, right?
Right.
And I'm not trying to be sexist by any means, but to give you an example, I was on TikTok Live just looking for a third for Apex, and I got a permanent ban on my TikTok Live because some dude doesn't like me.
Did you ban this guy, and then like you got your live?
You don't know who it is. You don't. Yeah. Well, I submitted a TikTok. I'm like, dude, just review the fucking footage. They said I was doing hate speech. I was like, you should probably just look at my fucking channel to realize I do not talk hate speech. I'm very against it. I was like, what the fuck? And within 12 hours, they unbanned me, and they're like, hey, we didn't find any issue after reviewing your live. I was like, no fucking shit, you idiots. The automated system for TikTok is stupid as shit. By the way, for anyone listening, if you really want to get somebody banned, just report them from hate speech. TikTok does not review it. It's so stupid.
So with my last question.
Let's get to the spooky shit.
Yes, we will. We'll move on to the next stuff. Can you see your subscribers? You see who they are. Have you had any people where you're like, why are they following me?
Yeah, George Lopez. No, I'm kidding.
You know what I mean, like cousins or family members, because like that happens with some people I know that have OnlyFans. It's like, oh yeah, their cousin followed them, or their ex stepfather from years ago. And I'm like, oh my god, that's a little weird, man. Like you can see that, right? You can see who follows you.
So yes, and you can also search people. So I did end up finding one of my old teachers on OnlyFans. I did not subscribe to him.
Oh, I was like,
yeah, I was like, there's one teacher. Anyways, we
all have that one teacher, Bub. We all had that one.
There's two, 5th grade and 8th grade teacher. But anyways, besides the point, what was I saying? Oh yes,
you were able to look at them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do see who's following me. Just like any other social media platform, you decide what your name is. I do think I have a very financially stable individual following me on both TikTok and now OnlyFans, because I got a few surprise tips that I'm like, oh shit, this dude just casually tipped me, $200 like that. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's a good one to befriend, I guess.
And I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. Trust me. And I do like OnlyFans for the tipping system and just all around the monetary exchange, because they only take 20%. TikTok takes 50% of everything. Like the platform at TikTok, like somebody will send you a Galaxy. A Galaxy costs you $10. The person receiving that Galaxy makes $5, right? On OnlyFans, you tip me $10, I make $8. So I see it when it comes to monetary exchange value, a better platform to receive those types of tips. But is it something I need to rely on?
No.
No. Is it something that definitely helps? Yes, because right now with with daycare, with medical bills, it's something that I'm like, okay, this definitely eases the fact I don't have to worry about, groceries this week or whatever it is. Before the inflation really started kicking in, we were fine, Now things are getting a little bit more tricky, but we're making do. It just so happens you have to become, a PG
Right.
stripper.
I can only imagine the taxes on that too. Oh God.
Yeah, so that's another thing. The cool thing about what I do though is my lifestyle is 100% tax deductible. So I talked to a CPA and he's like, yeah, man, your clothing, your gym, your remodels, everything that you do, because you basically do it on live, it's tax write-off. I was like, oh
No
shit.
shit.
My personal life is now a business, is how it's deemed. So if I was to like the fact I'm streaming my video games, this bad boy right here, tax deductible. Now I am not a CPA, but this is what I was told from a CPA. He could be fucking lying to me. I don't know. So do not take this as
End all be all.
yeah. I have no idea. The dude is look. We're talking a Florida CPA. Hey, Trump has a few of them, and look how well that's worked.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways,
All right. So
spooky time. I'll let you take over.
Not even spooky. It's something that was interesting. You're a vinyl guy. You love music. You have some on your walls. Something that's cool. Were you a Beatles fan at all?
Oh, let's take a shot.
Oh yeah. Shot
Cheers,
first.
Bud. A Beatles fan?
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles and the Beach Boys and music of that genre is definitely. I don't listen to them just casually.
First of all, don't put those two together.
For me, they are together because I'll listen to them while I'm on the beach.
I don't know. The Beatles are in a different category for me personally, but whatever, to their own. So obviously, back in the day, the Beatles split up,
right.
And then many of them have passed away. Only Paul is left. They are releasing an album. It was the last two songs that they collabed together before the band broke up, and they're actually using artificial intelligence to finish the parts that were left out that they stopped during the recordings. And they're going to be releasing this new album. It's called Now and Then, and it comes out on vinyl, a white vinyl,
solid
marble.
Fucking name.
Now and Then, and that's pretty cool to me. I'm sorry, and then it got me thinking, right? How many artists have had music released after they've passed post-mortem? After
There's
they've
no
died.
way it's that many.
Oh,
it was fairly new, isn't it?
Oh no! It's been around for a minute. So listen to this one. Okay, so I'll read off some of them.
Are you sure it's the Now and Then? Because I'm seeing the Carpenters released an album way back in the day called the Now and Then.
No, this is literally they're calling it Now and Then, not the Now and Then. It's just Now and Then.
Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah, but either way, so there's a bunch going on. So me and Bobby McGee. So that was released. Joplin, she died in 1970, and this album was released in 1971. So after she's passed.
Janis Joplin.
Mm-hmm. And then Buffalo Soldier, Bob Marley. He passed away in 1981, and that album wasn't released or song wasn't released until 1983. I mean, the list goes on. Your Cheating Heart.
Wait, well, even Mac Miller has had a full fucking album released
and
after his death.
Fantastic. But that got me wondering even more. So there is an artist that is still alive today that has been archived. Well, there's two actually. One of them, they're both very well known, that has been archiving music to release for once they have passed. The one that has the most, and I was very surprised with this, is Dolly Parton. She has not just country, but rock and roll and R&B that she will be releasing after she has passed. She has a contract with her producer and everyone there will be an album released or a song released every year after she's passed. So we could be having music 60 plus years after Dolly Parton's been passed. Kanye is another one. Mr. Yee
Man.
himself, who is going to be releasing. That's a paragraph.
Well, yeah. So, hello. Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer you promotion. So I responded, "Piss off, you twat." So yeah. How does that work though with the royalties? Like, does it go to the family or
Probably goes to the family. Yeah,
Who
unless they have
was-
something in their contract that it goes elsewhere, whether it be charity or whatnot. but-
Remember when they did the hologram Tupac?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, and they're going to be doing that with more. What was his
Imagine
name?
though, you could essentially make up an entire if you've been on TikTok, you've seen Plankton sing the Star Spangled Banner, right? You've seen Country Roads sang by Donald Trump.
AI
you
can do incredible things now.
You could pop that up with a hologram. Don't even need fucking artists anymore. Isn't that nuts? You just do a voice sample. You have upload the photos. Boom, hologram artists, original songs that
And
they never
you can-
actually touched.
Right, and you can look at the lives that they've done before and use their mannerisms and their movement to make it seem like it's the real thing. Like people when that Tupac hologram came on, people thought Tupac came back during that live. They were losing their mind.
People still
People
think
were
he's alive.
for tweeting and Instagramming like Tupac's back, he's alive, and it's like, no, it was just a hologram, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but like it was a very well done hologram. But like the songs that go on, I mean, okay, so Freddie Mercury, Queen, I Was Born to Love You, that came out 5 years after he passed away in '91, and the song came out in '96. Like the list, I mean, I'm at like 45 already. There's so many.
Well, I mean, if you
Body
think
and
about
Soul.
it, like say Austin was to die. Post Malone was to die. You know how much music he has that's not released. Original songs he's written that are acoustic, and he just hasn't released them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think essentially it's the same concept. They have all this unreleased content, and they're able to say, okay, this man wrote this. It calls up the family. Hey, we'll give you 40%.
or
40%
whatever
of the proceeds,
it is.
whatever
yeah.
it may be. Are you okay with this? Because I'm sure there's
A
I'm
clause.
sure there's a clause in there for stuff like
Yeah.
that. Especially with like the Beatles and all these with Queen and all these other artists, Michael Jackson Michael Jackson's been a huge area of debate when it comes to music and releasing stuff from him that, years after his death.
Yeah. It just got me really thinking. I was like, how many artists are we going to have when we're older? And then we're like, man, I remember when they were still kicking, and now they're still releasing music. And then
You
you're
do
like,
that.
Dad, they've been dead since 2032, and it's 2050. I know, that's going to happen to us, but like 2050, we're going to be alive.
You know what? I
Well,
think it's going to go.
Hopefully alive.
I mean, it's come to a point. So I was able to take. You can go to any website. You type in the song and you ask for chord and you ask for lyrics. You can then copy and paste that into ChatGPT now. ChatGPT, and you can say, "Hey, I really like the progression, the chords of this song. Here it is. Here's the timing dynamics of it. Go ahead and write a new song with this similar pattern, and make it about sucking dandelions off of a cow's tit." And it'll go ahead and produce that for you with the same concept. It'd be pretty cool.
ChatGPT is just it's broken the rules. It really has.
Yeah.
We use it all the time on this podcast. We'll take questions that you guys have given us, we'll throw them in there, and then it'll spit out a bunch for us to talk as talking points, or it'll layer it. We have one we're going to be using later that you guys are going to like. It's very Halloween themed, and I think you'll love it. But regardless, where do you think that's going from that?
What do you mean?
Like music, like do you think eventually we're gonna hit a point where we don't need like producers?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you could already technically build an algorithm to release songs every hour if you wanted to, based off of top songs on the top 10 chart, right? So you could take musical progressions off of the top 10 chart and have it reproduce original content based off of the dynamics of that song that people find fascinating. Now, you could also technically clone the voice of the person, or you can say, hey, AI, this is the vocal style that I'm going for. So you could take The Rock, Christopher Walken, and Kevin Hart, combine their voices together and say, "Hey, this is a new voice."
That makes me wonder what would be the most unique voice to use and combined.
Christopher Walken and Kevin Hart.
You think so? Out of all of them, like not like Seth Rogen and
Bro, I was watching a Ice
Bernie
Cube.
Mac.
So the Hot Ones came out with this new series called Snacked, and they had Ice Cube and Seth Rogen on. And fuck, if you haven't watched it, the laugh itself, like Seth Rogen's laugh, I don't know how, but it's gotten progressively just more obnoxious over the years. And you recognize it in this video. You're listening to it, you're like, just the entire video, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, if I was to smoke pot with that guy, he would probably be in the corner of the room looking at the wall, eating ketchup flavored chips, laughing like that the entire time. Like, he has one of the craziest laughs.
And I guess his laugh is just intoxicating. Like, we have friends like Adam. Our good friend Adam, if he gets going,
he's got
everyone's going. Yeah, everyone's going. Like, it's just an intoxicating laugh. And honestly, I've heard that about my laugh when as Connery says, my true laugh, more like a cackle. I usually do like my sales laugh most of the time.
Paul's sales laugh, I recognize from 1,000 miles away, and I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. That's a fake laugh. And he was comes out, and it's like, that's cute.
It's true. It really is. I used to do it in sales all the time with him, and he'd come back and he would just look at me and go like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Speaking of shitty jobs from the past, we're gonna utilize other people's stories, and there's talking points. Paul has not been filled in on this, so this will be kind of unique. So, what are some night shift horror stories? Now, if you've ever worked in corporate America, there's night shifts ahead of you, and people have their horror stories. Yep. So here's the top one. So this guy I'm not reading out your numbers. Fuck you, dude. Well, if you have a progressive 18-digit number ahead of your username, die. Anyways, this guy used to work a night shift at a 24-hour Walmart. Remember when those things were a thing?
Oh God, how I miss 24-hour Walmarts.
3 a.m. and you have a car meet in the parking lot. Anyways, customers are nuts enough in the daytime, but they become weird after midnight. If you ever wanted to feel better about yourself back in 10 years ago, just go to a Walmart after midnight. Once had an elderly guy come in wearing only a jean jacket and fishnet stockings. He came up to the register, leaned in, and asked if we carried anything to get rid of lice.
I feel like that's not the creepiest thing. I feel like it would be worse if someone walked up to you and they're just like, "Do you sell STD tests?"
If you're standing in the medical aisle and like, "You got anything for a dick rash?"
I've seen some creep. Like our Walmart, we have like the two. We have our super Walmart, which is like in the nice section of town, and then we have the Delaware,
the Mount Vernon one.
Oh, Mount Vernon one was bad too. But the Delaware Walmart off of there, that you see some things, man. I remember walking in there.
Even during the day, it's kind of trash.
Exactly. And at night, when it was still 24 hours, bro, there were some times where I walked in there and I was like, what is this woman wearing? Like, okay, you remember the the skin-colored leggings?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, well, these were so tight on this woman that you could see everything.
Oh, see the skin underneath the skin-colored.
Well, she had bright yellow thong with a whale tail sticking out, so you could see just that, and then it looked like she had nothing else on. So you just see that, and then she's wearing this, I'll never forget, it was a Barney crop top. I don't think it was really meant to be a crop top. I think it was a Barney shirt that she got when she was 13 and decided to keep wearing it.
Like the purple dinosaur Barney?
Dinosaur Barney. So just covering just the important things up top, gut out and everything. And then she had her curlers in because she was curling her hair. And I would remember walking by just like, I would never have left the house. I wouldn't have. Like, why?
Have you ever been that person just because fuck it?
I mean, I've had it where I'm still in my pajamas, nothing matches, I have 2 different colored socks on, but I'll throw a sweatshirt on. I'll spray myself. I'm gonna be somewhat okay to go out. I'm not gonna be a complete bum. But yeah, there's some out there where it's just like there was 0 fucks to give. This is their field of fucks and it is barren.
So mine was 3 years ago. Very recent. I walked into a Walmart in cowboy boots, Daisy Duke short shorts where the bottom of my ass cheek was hanging out, and a safety vest and a hard hat. That's it. No t-shirt underneath a safety vest.
Oh, was this during Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's different. That's acceptable. Like, you can wear weird shit during the month of Halloween because people are like, okay, he's coming from a Halloween party. This was like the middle of July.
That is rough. My favorite is so back in the day, Mount Vernon Walmart. If you don't know Mount Vernon, it's sort of, if you were to take 20 to 30 credit points off of a credit system, it's under Delaware, right? Which says a lot. Delaware itself is
we've grown, okay? Delaware is thriving now.
You can still grow in the wrong direction.
You got me there, bub. You got me there.
Yeah. So I'm at Mount Vernon. It's about 3 a.m. And we're all kind of chilling there, a few friends, but there's always rowdy groups that came out. You know, you had kind of the whiskey tank. Nice toot. That picked up. Yeah, that was a sharp little poop toot, bud. So you had your whiskey tangos, which is, white trash. You had, essentially whiskey tangos. You had your farmer hicks. You had your hick skids and, hockey players there.
So literally Letterkenny.
Yeah, hick skids and hockey players. And I was probably in the middle of like Hicks versus I was a Hick.
You were a soccer player though, so like
back in the day, yeah. So, but anyways, at that time though, I was 18, so I was driving a nice car. I was doing pretty well at that age. And did you shit yourself? Are you pulling it out of your ass crack?
No, I just had to stand up because my balls are sticking to this leather chair.
Anyways, we back in the day there was the whole sweatpant craze, sweatpants, UGG boots, and white wife beaters on women. Well, this one day we're in there, and this group of women come in, and 2 out of 7 of the women just had shit stains on the front and back of them. So in my mind, the way I picture that is one of them was sitting on top of the other one and shit.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a no for me, dog.
That's Walmart.
I wonder how much rough.
I wonder how much she could sell those on OnlyFans.
Oh yeah. Well, you're gonna get someone to message you eventually, and you're gonna fucking text me. I know it. Like, guess who just texted me for shit-stained underwear?
Do you think? You know what? That's a definite possibility. I don't know. I'm kind of hit or mix. Like, if I would actually do that.
What, sell stained underwear?
Underwear,
if anyone is going to get them, it's you. You're the only person I've ever known as a grown-ass man to shit their pants 3 times. Grown-ass man.
Yeah. I think I have IBS. But, yeah, I don't know. If I was to get that message, I don't know how I'd respond. I'd be like,
how much we talking here,
I think my number's 300.
That's a fair number.
No, it isn't. It isn't apparently, because I was researching a tangent, of course, for drinking. Cheers. Yeah. I was looking into like how much people should sell their underwear for. Apparently, I'm on the very high end.
Really?
Yeah,
compared to like
$75 is the normal
amount. What was her name?
Amount.
That woman that sold her bath water? Delphi? Yeah.
I don't know, bud.
She sold her bath water. Like bottled up and like, I wish I had one down here. They're little samplers, like what we have for bourbon. They're like this big, little vial. She just sold those at $100 a vial. And imagine a bathtub.
If I hit, okay, I'm gonna make a look. If we got any of my followers and listening right now, here's what I'll do. My 1,000 subscriber live stream, I'll go ahead and do a bathtub live on OnlyFans.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm giving you more ideas. You got to do like the milk water bath. You know what I mean? Like when women take their pictures and it's like milky. You put oat milk in with the water, so you don't see your.
I don't.
You can sell that.
If I'm at 1,000, I'm basically like I could quit my job.
That's fair. That's fair. Would that be a gift then, or would it be you still have to purchase said water?
I'm shipping and handling.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair. All right, guys, you got to send this off to people now. As the chat starts blowing up, bubble bath
with
friends.
Just put the camera. So I did find out.
Hey, all I'm saying is I got a hot tub. You come up here, we could do a live and do a bath with friends special.
Oh, you and I both naked.
There you go.
Yeah, but then they'd be like, "Wow, Paul has a massive cock, and Sean looks Irish as shit."
Disappointing. Yeah, I need a bigger mug.
The talent. Fuck you. This is a huge mug. Look at the size of this, Paul.
Sure.
You cunt. For those of you that aren't on my OnlyFans, I did a frontal shot where my mug is covering my genitalia.
Put it in front of your face real quickly, just the mug.
I have a abnormally large head for starters. Like I wear a 8 3/4 hat. I have a large fucking head.
So no, it's abnormally large.
Yeah, it turned my mom's taint into it wasn't.
That poor lady.
Yeah. Sorry,
that poor woman. Sorry, Mom.
You know what? In public, you say, the things you've done to me, you've ripped me. Fuck off. Yeah, I'm going to say it out loud.
That is a mother thing to do. Do you
it
think,
is.
Well, your wife can't do that. She had the C-section, right?
Yeah, I mean, God.
She can't, that's something that she can't use on your daughter now. You know, you can't. That's not an excuse.
Or you have a small face. Gage, shut the fuck up.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's shift on to our next topic. Yeah. What was it you had before we get to the movies?
I have plenty of stories. Like I'm pulling from Reddit right now, so I could just pull another.
Let's hear it.
All right. So Odd42 says, was an orderly at a hospital. 2 of us were sitting in the basement office adjacent to a morgue. Fuck that already. A guy passed our office looking at us a little shifty. Comes back again and asked if we had access to the morgue. Hold up. What?
Whoa.
We said yes, thinking he was just doing a pickup for a funeral home, but it seemed strange given the time was around 12 to 12:30 a.m. Nope.
Oh, yeah,
he wanted to pay us to let him in and leave him alone with the bodies for an hour.
Hey, yo.
That's necrophilia right there.
Yeah, that's illegal.
The comment underneath of it. Did he ask if the hot plate had a 6-pack of beer?
Oh, yeah, there's just people out there that just never cease to amaze me on the things that they'll ask. Like they just have there's no filter. Like we have no filter. For real, like we think we have no filter. There's some people that really don't. And it blows my mind that they just go around this world just willy-nilly.
I can't remember it, but Christina Pajinski, who, by the way, follows me on TikTok, and Tom Segura, they were doing a podcast where they were going over Man Pig Bear or whatever it was.
Man Bear Pig.
Yeah,
Man Bear Pig.
Where he wears a chastity belt, shits into a pair, or he does like a shit poutine where he like makes traditional poutine, but instead of cheese curds and gravy, he pisses and shits on it and then eats it on camera. Yeah. He has a pig tattooed onto his head. Like those
time.
Those are the extremes of it, and like
what is that guy's name? I want to know that dude's the dude that says Nina time and he like
you're talking about
bears and eats them.
Oh, I haven't seen him in a while.
I know. I'm wondering if he probably went to the hospital from consuming so much feces.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Anyways, worked as an evening manager at a major Hilton property. Got a complaint from a bunch of guests about the noise coming from one of the rooms. Turns out a drunken man was beating the shit out of his wife and had the door barricaded so we couldn't get in. I called the cops and they had to get into the room using a balcony from the room next over. Apparently, he's still traumatized by what he saw after they finally arrested him and got the wife out of the room. She was covered in blood and shit. It was horrifying.
Okay, but like, where's the story? I need more than just that.
Yeah, that's it. People upvote that under a horror story. That's not even a story. That's just kind of the beginning. That's the first paragraph of the book. Was walking through a simulation lab for nursing students at the hospital I work at on a very little sleep. All the lights were off, and it was the first time working night shift. Yeah, already. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, no.
Turned a corner and saw what I thought was a person standing behind a lamp that was on. Turns out it was a mannequin holding a pull cord.
Yeah, but if it's your first time on night shift and that's what I'd scream.
Oh, especially if there's a morgue in the hospital with you. Fuck that noise.
Oh God, that's like oh God.
This is
Okay,
a
so
long
there was
one.
there was this place that we used to go. It was a little taxidermy place right out in the boonies when we would go out and hunt with our buddies, and we would drive past there at night, and it would always be like closed, like you couldn't see in and stuff. Well, the one night we're walking by because the bar's not far down the road, and we're walking by it, and it's always closed, and we're hammer drunk, and it is past closing, so it's like 2:20, 2:30, whatever a.m. and stumbling back to our area. And I remember looking over, and this gentleman it's a taxidermy place, right? So you think of like just deer and bear and whatever you normally hunt. He does
Squirrels.
some specialty taxidermies. Yeah, like you remember Dinner for Schmucks?
No.
Like they had the little taxidermy mice that he made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine that, but with cats.
The, oh.
Yeah. It's like people paid for their animals to be taxidermied into human-like scenarios. And one of them, I peed laughing because like the first one I
cat
saw,
crossing its legs, drinking a cup of coffee.
yeah, so, like shit like that. One was in a tutu, but my favorite one was literally this one cat mounting the other cat, and it was meowing.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember turning the corner like, "What the fuck is that?"
there's a horror shop in Fort Myers that has shit like that where you can find like mice, like just the mouse's back end, like hanging out of the backside of a cat. Like it looks like the mouse is digging into the cat's anus, which it is in this scenario, but it's just taxidermied that way. And I'm like, people actually buy this shit, but they had it
Yeah.
for sale for like $1,200. I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, that's some serious time to put into taxidermy and on that for real.
Yeah, I
Some
almost
serious.
I almost paid $7,000 for my 12-foot 6-inch gator to be mounted.
Yeah, I was always surprised you never did that.
Oh,
At
I
least
got
the head.
pencil holders.
Not like a head or something, like the mouth and just...
Couldn't at the time I couldn't afford the head, so I just got a pair of pencil holders made out of its feet.
I have that. I have a gun rack out of the dough hands, like that are faced up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've never used them. Never used them. They're not like they're the aesthetic that you would have in a log cabin, and we don't have that feel. So like we would never hang those. But yeah, taxidermy gets out of there a lot. It's just it's a stretch. But
One more, or it's a longer one?
we can do the long one, but I still wanted to get to the movies, so it's up to you.
No, let's go ahead and just do the movies then.
Cool. All right. So we have, what is it? Rank 1 through 10, or what is our ranking?
Yeah, 1 through 10. So we've got Halloween's best movies in general. So this is ranked by AI. It is completely not my ideology.
No, we're
movies.
gonna go over and see if we agree with these choices.
And some of these we probably haven't seen. I'm looking at it now, and there's quite a few here I've seen. So, coming in at number 10, Sleepy Hollow in 1999, directed by Tim Burton. This adaptation of the Washington Irving's short story offers a gothic take at the legend of the Headless Horseman. Have seen it. Yeah, there's a reason
Good
why
movie.
it's ranked number 10.
I like it if you're looking at all the Halloween movies and scary movies. I like it. I like it at number 10. It's a classic. It's iconic. Everyone grew up with that story, including the children's adaptation version and the real book. Like that's a fair. I'd put that at 10 if that was one.
When it comes to horror movies, I don't really consider horror movies on a scale of like Halloween, right?
Right.
Horror
fair.
movies can be ingested any time of the year in my eyes. Like if I'm like 2 joints deep, I'll probably put on a horror movie just so I kind of pee a little bit.
That's fair. So these are just Halloween movies, not horror, just Halloween specifically.
These
They
are
might be
actually
horror.
100% Halloween related movies.
Okay, I dig
this list. Yeah. Like horror movies, like for example, if I'm going to do a horror Halloween movie, number 1 for me would be The Ring. Second would be Jeepers Creepers, right?
Also very good. Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers is in my eye called
the
classic.
first one. The first one.
Yeah, the rest after that.
After 2, it went downhill.
I would also put Tremors, the first Tremors, on that list as well. I think it's a phenomenal movie. It's a cult classic, though. You know,
A lot of these are.
Anyways, number 9, Corpse Bride, another Tim Burton
Good.
stop motion animation, darkly romantic tale of a man who accidentally proposes to a deceased bride. Solid movie. Came out in 2005.
I liked that movie. You didn't like it? Are you a Tim Burton fan? Let me ask you this.
No.
No?
I'm
Okay.
not,
See,
no.
that might be the problem. I
Yeah.
like Tim Burton in his films. I do. I really do. I like how
Edward
dark and
Scissorhands was a Tim Burton movie, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I hated that. I like Johnny Depp, but I hated that movie.
Well, I'm pretty sure. So Tim Burton is married to like Johnny Depp's cousin or something. I'm pretty sure something along those lines, and that's
You're
why
my
Johnny's
cousin.
been
You're
along.
my cousin. I don't know why
Yeah.
I went that way. I'm sorry.
What? But yeah, he's in a lot of stuff with Tim's because of that. I know something along those lines. All right, so number what? 8? What's number 8?
Number 8 is The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, 1966, a beloved animated classic from the Peanuts gang that's become a major staple of the holiday. And I agree with that one because even when it comes to Christmas time, the Peanuts have good fucking Christmas movies.
It's
and
iconic. It's nostalgic.
It
I
is.
wouldn't put it at 8. I was actually thinking more like 6 because that is something
Really?
that I grew up with and I liked as a Halloween, just getting you and the kids or the family, and you can have it on. Like The Great Pumpkin's a classic.
So number 6 for me on this list is actually probably closer to
Oh,
number
don't
3.
jump! Yeah,
But let's go.
Don't jump.
Number 7, the classic Scream, which has had a massive uptick this year because of TikTok. Everyone is saying to their significant others, their guys, get a Scream mask. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
On TikTok, they're like, hey, there's nothing like being choked and fucked while your gentleman's wearing a Scream mask. But anyways, Scream, 1996, directed by Wes Craven. The slasher film revitalized the horror genre of the 90s with its blend of horror and meta commentary on the genre itself. So that's number 7. Number 6, which in my eyes I feel like would be a number 3 because honestly, everyone shouts these 3 words whenever they want to piss off their friend. Beetlejuice, 1988, a Tim Burton classic. This one blends horror with a comedy and the tale of a couple trying to haunt their former home.
So you like this Tim Burton film?
I like.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes, you do. You do like it.
I like the comedy. I like the jokes in it is essentially what I like. I think it is a great movie when it comes to Tim Burton films. I do.
I remember we talked about it 2 episodes ago when we were doing Kill, Marry, Fuck. That was a good episode. I love that one. You guys will love it too when it releases Monday.
Yeah.
But on that we talked about one, Alec Baldwin. I forgot he was in that shit.
Oh yeah,
and that's Winona Ryder or whatever's in it. Like there's a lot of great actors and actresses in that film. Beetlejuice might be in my top 3 as well. I'm gonna be fair with you on that. That's a classic.
That's what
it
I'm
really
saying.
is.
Like,
I'm surprised it's not been redone because they always redo the good one.
If you have somebody that's very like scared of horror stuff, you say Beetlejuice or you say Bloody Mary, right? You say it 3 times, shit happens.
Or Annabelle.
Now you know what we should do tonight, Paul?
Watch Annabelle.
We should watch a horror movie tonight.
Oh, don't dump me.
Yeah. Anyways, number 5. The Exorcist, 1973, directed by William Friedkin. This tale of a demonic possession has terrified audiences for decades. And I agree. The Exorcist, when it comes to horror, it's a phenomenal crossover with Halloween. And I think it's a good movie. And I think it's right in the middle ground. I agree with number 5.
Okay, first of all, they just said that they're making a Beetlejuice 2. And I am excited about that. I did not know that.
Are they really?
Hopefully they keep majority of the original if they can.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I
mean, Alec Baldwin looks more and more like a grandfather now, so it could work if it's like their kids. I don't know how that would work.
That's probably how they'd have to do it.
Right.
Like they ended up passing the house to the next family, and then they're still haunting it, type of deal. Yeah. Actually, I'd be down to watch Beetlejuice tonight. Number 4, Trick or Treat, 2007, an anthology horror film that pays homage to the Halloween holiday with interconnected stories. I have not seen it.
I haven't seen that one. Might have to add it to the list. I don't know if I would put that there then. Yeah, I don't. That one's an up in the air. That's an unknown.
Last night we actually watched this. Watched this?
Did you watch this?
Cheers! Every time we fuck up.
Cheers.
Hocus Pocus, 1993, a year before I was born, a family comedy about 3 witches resurrected in Salem, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yep.
Drink.
I did it on purpose, but okay.
Sucks to suck. Yeah, no, Hocus Pocus and Hocus Pocus 2. Did you see the newest one?
Yes, and I actually thought it was very good. I was excited to see a childhood classic of mine done well for a second run.
I went in with an open mind, and I wasn't.
I did the same thing with the new Ghostbusters, and I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Right. You just kind of have to. When you see the ratings, like Rotten Tomato and everything come out and you see it's bad, I'm just like, I'm going to go in, watch it with an open mind, and see how it goes. And 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty pleasantly surprised.
Ooh, The Marvels, The Werewolf.
I watched it last night, actually.
I watched it last year.
Not in color. The color released today or yesterday.
It was a color. So I watched it in black and white last year when they released it.
I just watched it last night, and I liked it.
I actually will put that in the top 3 when it comes to horror movies. I think it was very well done. I think it played a really good homage to older.
Yes, I like that. In the black and white, it was good. I wouldn't say it's scary. It's definitely more of a family oriented. I feel like kind of a Halloween vibe. But the werewolf is what got me. When I think of a werewolf, and I know I'm probably kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I'm rough on this, but like, have you seen Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman?
Yes, I love that movie.
That's probably one of my top one. That's my number one for Halloween.
That's in the top 5.
That's the werewolf I think of, not what they did in the werewolf this movie. But that being said, it was still good. I was pleasantly surprised. It was not bad. 7 out of 10. I'd watch it again for Werewolf.
Who's the main actor of National Treasure?
You just hit me too fast. It's help us chat. It's
Wait, I got Google.
I know it's on the tip of my tongue. It's
Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was just in a new
he doesn't speak
movie.
at all.
Renfield.
Renfield, yeah.
I actually genuinely enjoyed Renfield. I think I can actually, when it comes to newer movies, that is a movie probably when my daughter's 13, I'd say, okay, here's a movie that I really enjoyed it by my time.
Did you watch the one with him in the old arcade, like kid theme? What is it called?
I don't know what you're
Hold on,
about.
I'm gonna tell you. It's they just released it not long ago, and he doesn't speak in it, right, at all. Like not a single word. It's called Willy's Wonderland. He does not speak in it one time, and it is gory. It is so gory, and I actually like. It is a.
There's got to be a healthy balance with gore and actual story for me to enjoy it. Because if a movie is 100% gore, like for example, when it comes to gore, I love The Boys.
Let's just say this,
gore, you know,
the monsters. He's not trapped with the monsters. The monsters are trapped with him. That's like the story. And it's really, I liked it for him not saying a damn word in the whole movie. I was getting irritated while watching. I was like, why isn't he speaking? And then I kind of sat back and realized, like, it's not his acting of his voice in this movie. It's his acting of his actions. And it's different. I go in with a different mind. You might like it. Willy's Wonderland, not bad. Let's go to the next on the list, though.
Yeah. So number 2. The Nightmare Before Christmas, a 1993 classic, a stop-motion animated film directed by Henry Selick and produced by Tim Burton. It's beloved for its unique take on the holiday and its memorable music.
I love it. I love it. It's a classic now. I love it. I have a Jack Skellington upstairs. I love it.
I'm not a fan. I've seen it once. I saw it as a kid, and back in the day, like even the older Christmas movies that were kind of that same style, I just wasn't a fan of as a kid.
Are you kidding me?
This is
Halloween. This is Halloween.
Yeah,
I love it.
It may be a different vibe as an adult because, like, for example, The Never-Ending Story, I rewatched last week. It's a fever dream as an adult. Oh yeah,
it is. And honestly, it's traumatizing. They're not animations. The actual mechanics of the dragon and stuff that they were using. Trippy, bro. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like the labyrinth level of trippy.
Oh, the labyrinth was good, and the what's that crystal?
The crystal skull or crystal? Yeah, crystal.
No,
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, the Crystal Palace, same concept. And that right there is one of my favorite. My dad showed me that back in the day, and I really love that one. Let's get to number 1. Directed by John Carpenter, the slasher film itself, Michael Myers, Halloween. 1978 classic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would probably put that as their number one. I personally would not. Yeah, see, you have it on. That's Jason. You're Wrong, but yeah, Friday the 13th is probably one of the good ones.
Jason, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. But I don't know. Nightmare on Elm Street is one that's always gonna be one of my tops. With Freddy Krueger, like that's a top one. I don't know if I would put Michael Myers. Like I wasn't a huge fan of that movie. I get why people loved it and it's so iconic, but I feel like there's been better slasher, villains per se since Michael Myers.
I agree, 100%.
So there's a lot, obviously, guys, that we could add to this list and go on and on and on and on, but we don't have the time for it. But if you ever want us to talk more in detail, please let us know. We do listen and read all the stuff you guys send to us, and we appreciate you joining us today on this Halloween episode. We didn't really get decked out. I got my Naruto band. He's got a Jason shirt on. We wanted to go all out, but we kind of forgot this was the last. We thought Halloween fell on a Thursday, so we were really going to go all out, and then we found out it didn't fall on a Thursday. So either way, come Monday, you're going to get a wave of Halloween themed podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and anywhere where you can find it.
Yes, be sure to hop in our Twitch. We do have some custom merch from the past. We haven't really updated it. I've been very busy.
We gotta.
Yeah, we'll do some updates. Probably we'll do some Thanksgiving type things. I'm thinking maybe like a turkey eating somebody's ass or type of shit. But anyways, gobble gobble.
Shotgun and a beer.
Oh, that's a good one. A turkey, shotgun, and a beer. Anyways, thank you all so much for joining Drunk Discussions podcast. Be sure to join us every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/Drunk Discussions. You can find us wherever podcasts can be found, unless I'm lazy and I'm just going to go ahead and release all 3 episodes at once. With that being said, peace. All right, for the actual live, we're going to go ahead and braid a channel real quick for when it comes to Twitch. Let's see.
We're gonna braid. Also, you can cancel Craig. What is braid a channel? Am I ignorant on this topic?
No, it's called raiding, and the channel I was gonna raid isn't on, so it doesn't fucking matter. So we're not gonna raid anyone. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.